Hey Donut Envy fam! Amanda here with a little update for you. Just want to make sure that everyone is topping and decorating our donuts the correct way so that we maintain brand consistency and brand standard. So I'm going to go through our lovely topping guide with you step by step, and we're going to decorate some boxes together, and I'll show you exactly how to decorate our donuts. And I'm going to start from the top and work my way right to left, just like we're reading a novel. Come along with me on our journey. First, we'll start with our cinnamon sugar topping. Of course, that is just going to be our classic cinnamon sugar. So cinnamon sugar is just cinnamon sugar. Lucky Charms, we start with our glaze first. So we're gonna drizzle our glaze. And then top with our Lucky Charms marshmallows. Now, since these do come in dehydrated, you will notice when you open up the bag that they do tend to be a little bit on the harder side, so you definitely want to make sure that those hit air for a little bit before you serve them, because they will soften up as air does allow them to. Next up is our Fruity Pebbles topping. Fruity Pebbles is just Fruity Pebbles on top of the donuts. With the hot donuts, naturally, the Fruity Pebbles sugar that we make will stick and coat to the donut really, really nicely. So there is no need for glaze. So glaze is not included in the Fruity Pebbles donut. And next up, we have our rainbow sprinkles. So vanilla glaze on top of the donuts, and then we decorate on top with our rainbow sprinkles. Alright folks, and there you have it. We have our cinnamon sugar, Lucky Charms, Fruity Pebbles, and rainbow sprinkles. Next up, we have our strawberry shortcake. So we're going to start with our strawberry glaze, followed by our golden Oreos, and our white chocolate chips. Next up, we have, of course, our powdered sugar. Followed by our cinnamon roll. Cinnamon roll starts with our cinnamon sugar first. So after the cinnamon sugar, we're going to add our vanilla glaze on top for the cinnamon roll donuts. And then last but not least of this box is going to be our kids' favorite, our dirt and worms. So of course, we start with our mud, which is going to be our Hershey's chocolate syrup. Next is going to be our dirt, which is our Oreo. And then one gummy worm per donut for our worms. So that is going to be our strawberry shortcake, powdered sugar, cinnamon roll, and dirt and worms. Okay, next up we have our chocolate chip. So we're going to start with our Hershey's chocolate syrup. Chocolate chips would go on top. Next up, we have our Oreo. So Oreo starts off with a powdered sugar base, and then we decorate the top with Oreo. Powdered sugar goes first. And the top would be Oreo. The easiest way to maneuver, I know I'm not doing it right now, but the easiest way to maneuver with your Oreo and your powdered sugar is going to be to utilize your tongs, because you can kind of pinch them like this and decorate accordingly down through here. Next up is going to be our chocolate caramel. So our chocolate caramel starts off with our Hershey's caramel syrup, followed by our Hershey's chocolate syrup. And it's a drizzle of both. Next up, we have our mini chocolate chips. Followed by our caramel bits. So this one has 4 ingredients on top. Next up is going to be our unicorn, our beloved unicorn. It is a child favorite, and it's probably my favorite to decorate. This one starts with our vanilla glaze, followed by our Fruity Pebbles, rainbow sprinkles, and Lucky Charms marshmallows. And there you have it. We have our chocolate chip, Oreo, chocolate caramel, and our unicorn. And for this upcoming box, we have caramel glazed, maple bacon glazed, and we're actually going to be swapping out our chocolate sprinkles for our cinnamon roll crunch, which I'll get into at the very end of this little clip. So caramel glaze starts off with our vanilla glaze drizzle, followed by our Hershey's caramel. This is one of my favorites. And of course, those delightful caramel bits that just melt in your mouth and are so delicious. So we have our caramel glaze. Next up is our maple bacon. For our maple bacon, we start off with our cinnamon sugar and maple syrup. So maple syrup first, drizzle of our maple syrup, and then of course our cinnamon sugar. And topped, of course, with the beloved bacon crumbles that everyone loves. Maple bacon. Next up, we have our traditional vanilla glaze. So this is a classic donut, our vanilla glaze donut. And last but not least, we are introducing our cinnamon roll crunch, or I should say reintroducing, depending on when you have joined the franchise family. So again, we are going to be eliminating the chocolate sprinkles. I wanted to introduce something that I think that your fans and our donut loving fans will love so much more, which is our cinnamon roll crunch topping. So this was actually a seasonal topping for us about a year and a half ago. Back in the spring of 2022. So cinnamon roll crunch is actually going to be cinnamon roll with our cinnamon toast crunch crumbles on top. So we're going to start off with, of course, our cinnamon sugar, followed by our vanilla glaze, and topped with cinnamon toast crunch crumbles. So there you have it, caramel glazed, maple bacon glazed, and cinnamon roll crunch. For this next row, we're coming down to the last couple of donuts on our menu guide. This one right here is, you have a magnet for it. It is our chocolate Oreo. However, it is not currently on our topping guide. So I just want to explain how to properly decorate that donut. So it is a chocolate Hershey's chocolate syrup first, followed by our Oreo on top. And of course, last but not least, we have our French toast and our s'mores. For the French toast, we're going to start off with our cinnamon sugar. Topped off with our maple syrup. This is the proper order. You will see, as you can see from the camera, that the maple syrup kind of shimmies and slides all over the cinnamon sugar, and that is normal. So that is the correct order on topping these donuts. And then of course a dusting of powdered sugar. For this, you could also use your tongs. What I would recommend doing is making sure that you use the tongs that are currently in your powdered sugar, and just not scooping up any additional, just use whatever's the remnants on the tongs to just kind of clamp over top. But that would be a good example of what a dusting of powdered sugar is like. So it's kind of like adding the little bit on top. And then next, of course, we have, last but not least, our s'mores. So start off with our Hershey's syrup, topped off with our golden Oreos, which basically represents the graham crackers. Next up, we have our mini chocolate chips. And last but not least, we have our mini marshmallows on top. Perfect. So we have our chocolate Oreo, French toast, and s'mores.